have a vision. And number two, be committed to that vision. Be committed to that vision. Life is not about jokes. Be committed to that vision. Number three, and this is very important. Let me not make it number three. Let me just give it a subtitle of some things that will make you not to get to your vision or not to achieve your vision. Something that will hinder you not to achieve your vision. And number one, friends. Marafiki wabaya wanaweza fanya usifike mahali unataka kwenda. You know, there are bad friends. That's why I had Emmanuel mentioning that there are groups za warui huwa zinakaa mahali hapo ndio zinapiga kelele. Do you know there are people who are gifted in noise making? Even if hata akipigwa saa hii bado akirudi class ataongea tu. You know, I suppose kupiga noise. Kuna watu tu wako na, ninaweza sema ni kama roho ya urui. Anaweza discipliniwa saa hii bado anarudia ile kitu tena. You know, those people that seem, you know, they are the problem in school. You know, if you have a vision, there are behaviors that you will not have. People with visions, they are very disciplined, very disciplined. Hata kuna mtu tu anaamua tu afunge tai juu ya sweta na anataki sweta. You know, unashindwa. You know, unashindwa ni nini hii? Ati ni bangi. Unashindwa ni nini hii? So be careful with the friends that you walk with. Somebody said that you are an average of the friends that you walk with. Wewe ni average ya friends that you walk with. You are an average of the friends that you walk with. So those friends that you walk with, you are the average of those friends. Ukitembea na watu wanavuta bangi, very soon utaanza kuvuta bangi. And if not so, utaanza kubehave kama hao watu wenye wanavuta bangi, because their influence inatoka from what they are taking. Friends, wale mabeshte mnakaa na wao ni kila wakati mkipiga maristo, unasikia ni mastori za madem, machali. Ni mtu ni mjamaa, anashida story ni za madem. Zikipita hivi anaanza kusema, "Guy, angalia hiyo ndio story sasa." Unajua? And you know, it seems to be something good when it is done by many people. Mara nyingi mkifanya kitu mkiwa group, it looks like a good thing. You know, sometimes because of peer pressure, because you are the same age, you feel like, what we are doing is right. I had some classmates and schoolmates that I knew when we were in high school, and we knew some groups. Ulikuwa unajua ukiona fulani hapo ujue hiyo group sipo. Ukiona fulani hapo unajua hii group hii wanapanga kuchoma shule. Ukiona fulani hapo, na unajua kuna watu wako na gift kutoka kwa shetani ya kupanga mambo mabaya even against their teachers. Anasema na huyo mwalimu naye tutafunga na yeye. Tutafunga na huyo jamaa, tutafunga na yeye. Kuna watu wako na hizo nini. And let me tell you, if you are in such a group, please disconnect from that group, because you know what is happening? You are going to bring a curse for yourself, and number two, you are going to destroy your destiny with your own mouth, with your own hands, because of friends. Influence ya marafiki. Hujaisikia Bogi watu wote wanasema wanapangana, wakikubaliana ni moja. Hata kwa university watu wanasema comrade. Wanafanya kitu wakiwa together. It seems to be like a good thing, but definitely what you are doing, you are messing up with your life, and it will be dangerous for you. It will be dangerous for you. Please, I beg you, if you are connected with bad friends, disconnect with them quickly. If you are not able to change them, very soon they will change you. Change. Mimi kuna watu siwezi tembea na wao barabara. Hata mimi kuna wasichana hatuwezi hata simama tuanze kuongea discussions zingine. Amevaa skirt inaonyesha kila kitu. Sasa wewe hata wewe mwenyewe ukisimama hivi unaona hata kama unasema shit shetani lakini Number two, drug and substance abuse inaweza kukuzuia kupata what you want to become or to become what you want to become. Drugs and substance abuse. If today you start smoking today and you end up being an addict, what will happen to you? Probably you might die of cancer, number one. You might die of kidney issues or organ failures. Or if not so, you might end up to become a very, I don't want to use that name, but I will use it. You might end up to become a very, very useless father or mother. Yes, because immediately you get into drugs, now you don't control yourself anymore. It is drugs which controls you. Definitely, ukianza kuvuta bangi, kuna mahali itafika nao, bangi inaanza kutake over, sio wewe yuko in charge, ni bangi iko in charge. Unakunywa pombe, umeona mtu amekunywa pombe, even the way, I think if there is something I will never desire in my life is to become a drunkard. The way they make noise at night with a lot of fear. You know, they are trying to take fear away by shouting. You know, and the way they behave, you know, you wouldn't want to become a drunkard. There are two sons. That is a story of that has been given of two sons which were born by a very, very big drunkard being their father. And when they grew up, you know, one of them became a very important, in fact, according to the stories, one of them became a senior doctor and the other one was a drunkard. The doctor was not drinking and the other guy was drinking. And when they were asked, why one of them was a drunkard, why do you really get drunk the way you get drunk? And he says, I took it from my father, the way he raised us. I was raised up by a father who exposed us to an environment of alcoholism. And the other guy was like, why don't you take alcohol and you are raised up by a drunkard father? And he said, the way I saw my father getting wasted by alcohol, I made up my mind I will never even taste beer in my life. Those two people, they came from one family, but they made a choice to be different. You can be raised up in a family whereby you are exposed to all that drugs and substance abuse and all that, but you can make a decision. I will never take alcohol. I will never be in drugs. Because you know what? Immediately you become a drunkard today. Number one, what you lose is responsibility. People who are in drugs and substance abuse, they are not responsible at all. I remember of a gentleman I was helping from one of the big universities that I won't mention. This guy had done 5 years in the university. He went to the university, a very good boy. When he did his KCSE, he was the first person in his sub-county, the leading student. Then he went to the university to do chemical science. And after enrolling into the university, the first year, the second year, he got some friends and they encouraged him. They introduced him to drugs. They introduced him to sleeping with old women, sex, you know, in all that. And then it became his life. Do you know right now as we talk, that gentleman is not employed because you cannot trust him. Anaiba ndio aende akakunywe pombe. You know, hawezi kaa bila pombe. Anaiba ndio aende akanunue bangi. Anaiba ndio, you know, he has stolen, he has been stealing. Recently, even right now as we are talking, I am handling a case of a multi-millionaire son who is in drugs. Very rich. The parents are very rich. Very rich. They are multi-millionaires. And the guy has not been able to control himself from drugs. Akipata kitu imekelewa hapo, anaiba, anaenda anauza, ananunua pombe. Ukimuuliza nini alifanya? Mtu wa pombe anachukuaga hata TV ya 50,000, anaenda anaiuza 3,000. Because what they see, they just see alcohol. And those who are in drugs or those who have ever been in alcoholism, you know, or even you have some guys that you know they are in drugs, you know. ya kwamba mtu anaweza kukuibia, na hata ukimuuliza kama aliiba anakuambia oh I'm sorry, you know, ni kwa sababu nilikuwa na njaa ya kufanya kitu fulani. That's why I did that. And the next one is called sex. Sex, number 3. Sex. Sex can really make you not to achieve your destiny. Sex. Yes. And when I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about premature sex or wrong sex. And you all know that sex is strictly for married people. If you are not married, you are not allowed. Ni kujikausha kama ngumu. Mpaka ile siku utafika, uambiwe sasa, useme this is my wife and this is my husband. Ukisikia inachemuka, unaiambia tulia, time haijafika. You all know that. Let me tell you, students, feelings are normal. You know that? Si mnajua, as long as you are normal, you all study biology. As long as you are normal, your body, there is a way your body has to react. You know? Even most of the men in the morning hours, mnajua kuna mambo inafanyikaga mkiamka. Ukiamka mwili kuna vile inaonyesha kitu. You know? Yeah. That's true. Can I tell you what that means? It means you are normal. Yes, it means that you are normal. Now, even to the ladies, I know you also have feelings. But there is something that will help you. Number 1, self-discipline. Number 2, self-control. Because there is time for everything. Even in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, the Bible says that there is time and season for everything. One day there is an apostle who has written a script in the Bible, and it's called Corinthians. He says, it's Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 7. He says, the body of a man, a husband, does not belong to him. It belongs to the wife, and then the wife belongs to the husband. So they have been given authority, they have been given freedom to have sex in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, every time they want, as long as they are married. Are we together? Look at your neighbor, tell your neighbor, sex is only for the married.
Sex is only for the married.
Now listen to me. Listen to me. Anything that is good, anytime it is abused, it becomes wrong. Do you know that?
Yes.
Anything, hata sahi ukikunywa juice bila kudilute, what will happen to you? Utaanza kukohoa, si ndio?
Yes.
And probably there might be some una develop cold or something. Because definitely it doesn't mean that juice is bad, but you have misused it. Definitely, let me tell you the truth. Right now, it is not the right time for you to have sex. And in case you feel that you need sex, please, gentlemen, go to your mother and your father and tell them to get get a wife and get a good girl, take them to the mother, introduce them, become husband and wife, then be joined together. You will be coming in school as a husband to somebody, and then she will also be going to school, if she's in school, as a wife to somebody. And that is the thing, if that is what you want. But let me advise you, if you are a man with vision, right now you would be focused on studying, not focused on things that are sexual. Let me tell you all these things that you see. You will never be tired of seeing them. And you will see them daily. Let me tell you, you will see a brown one today. When you are thinking this one is brown, tomorrow you see another one. Ukifikiria huyu ni brown, unaona sasa a white one. You know there are white people. Unasema guy. Unaangalia mali safi, Tito. You know, you will see it. And you will never cease to see them. You will always be seeing them. And even when you will get married, you will still continue seeing them. Now, what is very important, listen to me while I'm mnaongea. If you don't have self-discipline and self-control, I tell you the truth, you will end up being a victim of STDs, the sexually transmitted demons, and then STIs, the sexually transmitted infections. You will carry sicknesses, and both sicknesses and demons, because you have slept with one person who is in occultism. Umelala na mtu mwingine alikuwa amepagawa na mapepo, hata wewe mwenyewe umeanza kujievu umepagawa na mapepo. And do you know, I don't know whether girls and the boys who are here, whether you know this. Anytime you sleep with a person, you become one. I don't know whether you know that marriage does not end at the altar when people are connected or when people are joined together through a ring. And then after they do all those vows, there is a step. When they engage sexually, they now become more one. They are joined together. That is how sex is powerful. To an extent of, there is a gentleman who was sharing with us, I have given that story to all the schools that I go. This gentleman told us, anytime they want somebody to come to their group and become a member, they don't force you to sign anywhere. They just lure you, they talk to you good, and then you know what they do? They sleep with you as a girl. And immediately they sleep with you, you don't have to sign anywhere. You automatically become a member of the occultic team. You become a devil worshipper or something, because whatever they are worshiping is not God. So, some of you, when you are enjoying, remember the cost of enjoying. You sleep with an old man. They give you money. And they tell you, you know what, I'm going to sponsor you. They are called sponsors. And then they give you everything that you want. And one day, there is a claim, maybe they are in occultic world. And their master say, we need a sacrifice. I tell you the truth, you will be the sacrifice. You know, when we are telling you this, you are in high school, most of the times you say, mi siwezi kosa kukula. I know most of you hapa mmeshughulikiwa na mmeshughulikiana. Ni sawa. I know mmeshughulikiwa proper. Hata wengine hamjashughulikia mmoja, umeshughulikia kadhaa. Na wengine umeshughulikiwa na kadhaa. Lakini wacha nikuambie, if you don't run when it is too early, in the latter days, you will look at your life and you will not even admire yourself. Do you know? Do you know your life can be wasted to an extent of you even don't desire to be yourself? You even don't admire yourself. When you look at yourself, you also don't admire yourself. Why should it reach to that extent? Nini unakimbilia? What are you running for? Right now you have an opportunity to finish Form 4 and then you go to Australia and study without any baby crying to you and saying, you know what, your grandmother or your mother is calling you. Mtoto hajakula na wewe ni mtoto mwingine. Yani mtoto anazaa mtoto mwingine. You are stressed. You are in school, unashindwa nisome ama nilee mtoto. Wewe ni jamaa unapigiwa simu unaambiwa umemaliza Form 4. Unaambiwa unajua mtoto anataka maziwa. Anataka pampers. Hey, nimesikia. Anataka pampers. Anataka vitu fulani. And you should be studied. Let me submit to you guys. I'm talking very fast because I don't have time. But this is what I am saying. Why don't you focus on priorities? Why don't you focus on priorities? Look at your neighbor as we finish and tell your neighbor, focus on priorities.
Focus on priorities.
Tell them, please focus on priorities. Let me ask you, dear friends, have you ever gone somewhere in a funeral and then in the eulogy, they are reading the eulogy and they say, this man was so good. That's what they say. He was so good. And then they go to the education, they say, he studied in this place, they give it out. Then they say, marriage, he was single, but searching. They go now to illness. And they say, this man has never had sex for the last 5 years. And then, that's where now the problem started. And because of that, he left. He died. Have you ever heard of that? But let me ask you, dear sisters and brothers, have you ever gone to a funeral whereby people died because of STDs? They died because of issues of relationship. Have you ever gone? Yes. Yes, you've heard of it. And let me tell you, it is happening that a lot of girls in school and a lot of boys also, some of them want to commit suicide because they were left by their boyfriends and their girlfriends. Let me tell you, I have bad news for you. If you die today because of a girlfriend, you will die a single, desperate boy and you will go to hell. Now, you lose on earth and you lose in heaven. You lose everything. So, what does it profit a man to commit himself? You sell your destiny because of sex? You sell your destiny, your future because of things like sex? Is that reasonable? And also others are in lesbianism. Wasichana wanachapa ulele kabisa. Na majamaa nao wameshughulikiana proper. You know, it is happening. Is it not happening? Unakaa na jamaa anaanza kukushikashika kule. So, it's so sad. Very, very sad when you hear some things are happening. And let me tell you, sex is not for the same gender. Sex is for a girl, not a girl, a female and a male. Sex is not for boys and girls. Sex is strictly for a female wife and a male husband. God did not create Adam and Steve. He created Adam and Eve. You know that? You all know that God did not create Eve and Stacy. It was strictly that God created a female and a male. And that's fine. We have nothing else to discuss of. If you want to go far, be careful with these three things. Number one, friends. Number two, drugs and substance abuse. And number three, sex. Fear. If you hear anybody telling you, please can we have sex, run. Don't even discuss about it. Run. Sema shindo shetani ukifanya nini? Ukitorokaga. And let me tell you, I don't know why my time has gone very fast, but let me tell you this. I know that we also have a problem from this region, because we have done a lot of research concerning the region, that many girls and many boys, people love sex. One of the things we have observed. But let me tell you, if you love your vision, please say no to sex now. Say no to all these things of prostitution. Ati unapelekwa kwa room. Na naomba ukijaribu kupelekwa kwa hiyo room. I don't want to conclude that statement, but I pray zile date zote mmepatiwa hapa zikuwe cancelled mpaka ukuwe disappointed. Na wale mko na ma boyfriend na ma girlfriend, naomba hizo relationship ziwa heartbreak. Yani utoke hapo ukiwa heartbroken. Yes. Kama ni aje mwalimu. Naomba ukuwe heartbroken. Ukuwe heartbroken ukifikiria kurudi kwa relationship ingine. Unasema mimi siko tayari. Yes, and that's what I pray. Na wale watajiforce, ujiforce tu hivi. Mtaana mjiwekelee kwa hiyo kitanda yanguke hivi hivi. Fanya kitu. Mnaenda mnapatikana hapo. Wewe. Let me finish. Yeah. So, up to there. Up